I can hear the sound of the children laughing, actually. I can hear the joy that must have been in that classroom, but I can also imagine the deep silence of children concentrating hard on making. And that's a wonderful sound.
One of the most interesting parts of the Epsom collection is its ceramics collection, and it's an important collection not because of its size but because of its history. And the history is key to understanding the development of studio pottery in Auckland. Even though it's a small collection, it's a significant one because it includes these major figures, and it also has the kind of scale, I suppose you'd say, of the individual pieces that lets you see the degree of experimentation.
Well, Elwyn was initially a classroom teacher in Orowaiti in the far north. And although he was an artist himself, he's most famous for the work and the pottery that children made in that school. So he's a significant player in that he reminds us of a time in education where the arts and craft were at the very centre of what could happen in classrooms.
All of the kilns and wheels that have come onto campus here at Epsom originally were out at Ardmore, and that meant that those students who were particularly interested in being able to develop the craft discipline had the means to do so. Back then, that was seen as a way of engaging the haptic realm, you know, the realm of touch for children, and a way of reinforcing learning about shape, about context, about dimension, all of the things that you want to teach when you're teaching art. So the collection is small, but it's an extremely important piece of that whole history.
Elwyn's work is part of a wider arts education movement, which is singular, unique in the world, and placed New Zealand education at the very front of ideas about how the arts might engage young people in their learning. What he was really interested in was young people using their senses to fully engage with the world. It wasn't just sitting behind desks in classrooms, but it was outside collecting the mud, observing nature in its fullness, and then bringing that back into the classroom.
Some of the key people involved in the ceramics movement were people like Barry Brickell, Len Castle, Castle and Nealie, and curiously enough, they were all scientists. They went through, did Bachelor of Science, and then they came on to do their teacher training. Len Castle was extremely serious about pursuing glaze chemistry in particular, so you get those wonderful volcanic forms which have these glorious deep blue glazes, fantastic red molten glazes. So Len Castle was moving away from the functionality of ceramics to engage more with texture and the dynamism of colour. So they became much more like abstract sculpture. So he was really one of our great leaders of ceramics in New Zealand, and he really got his start here.